Hello, and welcome back to another video with me, Dark Twisted Gamer. Now, some of you might know that a while ago I finished my 2-year-long project called Bacrophobia. And that was a Roblox game I made that was based on the backrooms. And recently, I have been wanting to make another game. Also, due to the fact that I have to make a game at some point for my university major, and I really didn't know what I was going to do, but a while back, I stumbled on a YouTube short. It was one of those choose a door videos.
Pick a door. The door you have chosen will determine where you will spend the next 48 hours.
Now, this video caught my attention because this was an interesting concept, and I really wanted to make that into a game. Now, I wanted to jump in right away and make these liminal spaces. However, I couldn't. I had to make a starting point first. And so I decided to create a small little basement room. Now, the lore in this game is you're hired by a company as a test subject, or if in the case where you're playing with friends, a group of people hired as test subjects. And you are put in an elevator and brought down to this room, and you have to vote on different areas to survive. Now that I had the spawn room finished, I had to get the voting system fully working. So after spending a stupid amount of time trying to figure out how Roblox's viewport frames worked and getting things to line up just right, I finally created a place to store maps that I created, and I made a script that would choose 3, let the players vote on one, and then it would display a preview of the selected map in a portal before the players walk through. Once this was done, I had to create a cutscene of the players going through the selected door. But for some reason, I decided that making the voice lines for the starting sequence would help with timing if I made and implemented them first. But to be fair, it did. And so, after spending hours recording, editing, and subtitling all the voice lines, I finally got them implemented.
Attention. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Welcome, test subjects. Thank you for participating in our tests.
Now, the next thing to do was to make the mentioned cutscene of the player walking into the portal. Now, that wasn't entirely easy because first I had to detect what door was voted for. Then I created a simple script that would tell the players to look at the door that's selected, and then it would freeze the player so they can't move, and then the player would be forced to walk to the door. When the door would open, you would see the preview of the level, and then the player would walk through and they'd be in the level. As a bonus, on the other side, there's a quick door slam, and then the player whips around and sees that the door is shut and they're stuck there. The next thing I did was try and work on the system to leave the levels. And so basically I copied the elevator from the beginning. I was able to change the size of the parts so it was just the size of the elevator cab, and I made it look a little bit better. Then I added a sensor to detect when a player got in. So basically when the players go into the elevator at the end of the exit, they'll be frozen in there, and then they will be able to spectate the rest of the players in the level until everyone has made it into the elevator, in which everyone gets teleported back to the main spawn before they're let back into the main room. Now, if you were to be unlucky and get eliminated in the level, then you would return back to the spawn room, and you would be able to go over to the computer and spectate the players from there. Now, one of the final things to do before I could start working on the levels, other than cleaning up some bugs, was to create the lobby for the game. And so I added the same loading screen as the actual game, and then I added the buttons for the main screen, and I worked on a function that would allow me to fade in the buttons in an order to add a little bit of Pizzazz. After I got that done, I worked on adding a leaderboard page, so that way you can see your statistics. And so there will be a local and a global side. So the local will be all the players currently in the lobby with you, and then global will be all players that have played the game. And so basically you can scroll through and then click on their name and it will tell you statistics of how many rounds they survived. And then I worked on the lobby where there's just a back button, a ready button, and some frames that show the each player's name and image that are in the lobby currently. And I spent a bit of time on getting the teleporting working. So now, other than adding a data store in, which I will do at some point, we are pretty much done the dynamic side of the game and just have to add in all the levels. I will be doing that in another video, but I hope you did like today's video, and I know it was a little different than what I normally do, but I hope to be doing more of these in the future, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.